Hello, my name is Margo Wagner and I'm chair of the Cariboo Regional District. I come to you today from the traditional territory of the Northern Shwepen people. Today we are here with BC Wildfire Service and the District of 100 Mile House to provide an update on the current wildfire situation in the Cariboo. I'd like to start by once again thanking all the organisations and individuals and volunteers playing such a vital part in our wildfire response. This work is not for the faint of heart, and we recognise and value your contributions. I'd also like to express my appreciation and thank you to those currently still on evacuation order for your continued patience. We recognise that it can be stressful being evacuated from your home for an extended period of time. An order is something we do not take lightly. The most important consideration for making these decisions is public safety. Please adhere to the evacuation orders. When you choose to stay behind in an order area, you are putting your own life and the lives of first responders at risk. Our goal is always to get you home as soon as we are able. Evacuation orders remain in areas where it is not safe based on recommendations from BC Wildfire Service. The recommendations are based on current and forecasted fire behaviour, weather and safe access routes for residents. We work closely with our partner agencies and utility operators to do our due diligence and make sure it is all clear to return home before rescinding an evacuation order. Many fires across the Cariboo Fire Centre remain active, and the situation can change hourly. It is important for all residents throughout the CRD to remember we need to remain diligent about being prepared in case a future evacuation needs to be issued. In closing, I would like to ask again for your continued patience, for you to remain prepared, to look to the appropriate sources for accurate information, and to respect those that are playing a part in our wildfire response, and to be kind and be safe in these stressful times. I will now turn it over to the District of 100 Mile House Mayor, Mitch Campsall, to say a few words.
I know we're going through another challenging fire season again, and I just appreciate the calmness and the community. And when I say the community of South Cariboo, of everybody working together, everybody's the volunteers, the fire departments, the loggers, the firefighters. We have just been bombarded with just an unbelievable community working together, and our community now has been stretched out throughout BC. And, I just want to make sure that people continue to, work with their neighbors, help them when they need it. And again, we're going to be monitoring the situation every day to make sure that you stay as safe as possible. And again, I just can't thank people enough. We've been so lucky to belong to this community that just seems to want to work together with everybody. I'll turn it over now to the Steve, the incident commander of wildfires for this area.
My name is Steve Lemon. I'm from Revelstoke, BC, traditional territory of the Ktunaxa, Sinex, and Silex, as well as the Secwepemc people. So in the fire complex, we're managing 17 different fires in this northeast complex, 10 of which are under control, 3 are being held, and 4 are out of control. We've got a scanning team in place, and we're trying to call out some of the smaller fires within the complex, so that we can reallocate the resources to the more complex, challenging fires. I'm going to talk about 3 of those primary fires, but again, sort of recognizing that we're continually reassessing and moving resources where the highest priorities are. So south of Canim Lake, we have fire C4 1100. It's currently just over 3,000 hectares. We're having trouble getting some accurate tracks there because of the density of the smoke. There's 25 firefighters out there and 5 pieces of heavy equipment. The good news story on that fire is that the fire itself is really nicely backing down into our control guards that have been established on the south flank. And then along the eastern flank, we've had crews working, mopping up along that, and they've got, getting in a solid 25-foot black line perimeter. And we'll be looking to expand that over the coming days here. So that fire is looking fairly good at this time. The Succour Lake fire north of Canim Lake, C41191, is mapped at about 1,700 hectares, currently still out of control. We've got 5 firefighters and 8 pieces of heavy equipment, and then as well as the aircraft that are shared amongst the complex. We've been diligently putting in line and mopping that up along the side there. We did see some increased fire behavior last night with the winds, but fortunately it was all within the fire perimeter and it all held where we thought it should. So that's a good piece. The bigger, the more complicated fire that we're currently working on is the Flat Lake fire, C41602. Currently mapped at about 53,000 hectares. We've got 61 firefighters and 35 pieces of heavy equipment. We've got structure protection crews working, as well as a number of helicopters, both heavy lift and medium lift, that have been doing fairly consistent bucketing on the fire. Yesterday, we did a really successful burn off on the southwest flank near the junction of the Dog Creek Road and the Raphael Mason Road. Brought the fire right down to the road. Really good access for the crews to get extinguishment on it. Feeling really confident about that piece of line. Today we'll be continuing up that west flank of the fire with some more planned ignitions to bring the fire down out to more manageable terrain, as well as to get so that we can access it with the water tenders and support mechanisms. We do have structure protection in place in and around the Meadow Creek area, Meadow Lake area, as well as last night we did have an excursion on the northeast corner that got out of what our containment was, and so we did put structure protection in on the Evergreen area and that 93-mile loop road. Fortunately, last night we were able to catch the fire on that excursion. It did not cross the major power lines there. We were able to work a night shift, get heavy equipment around the head of the fire there, and we had firefighters working very late to try to secure that line. And right now it's looking fairly good. So a bit of a success story there with some hard work late night. We are expecting, increased amounts of lightning. We are going to see more thunder cells come through the area today. With that, they're going to bring erratic winds and not very likely much rain with them. So we're going to have to be sort of continually reassessing, looking at areas where we can win. And monitoring those areas that are going to, that may go beyond our capacity to control. So that will be a continual process as we see these winds through today. That's where I'm at. And I'll pass it over to Madison.
My name is Madison Smith, and I'm a fire information officer with the Cariboo Fire Center. I'm just going to give a brief overview of all the fires that we have throughout the fire center that are currently have evacuation alerts or orders on them in this area. So we currently have 38 wildfires in the Cariboo Fire Center to date. The fire danger rating throughout the center is high to extreme. I'm going to start at the Purdy Lake wildfire, which is C11491. The Purdy Lake wildfire is located south of Batanuni Lake and east of Purdy Lake. It is currently estimated at 8,100 hectares in size and is classified as being held. Warmer conditions on the fire yesterday with a combination of elevated winds resulted in an increase in fire behavior, but no new growth was seen. We did have helicopters out there yesterday that were able to bucket some water on those hot spots to cool them down. Our crews are continuing to work on the northeast side of the fire with mop-up operations using the results of a scan, an aerial scan that took place a few days ago. So with that, they're prioritizing areas of action. We continue to action the difficult terrain in the southwest portion of the fire. So that's where our crews are at today, battling that hard terrain. There was an evacuation alert, like I said, that was issued by the Cariboo Regional District, but it has since been rescinded. I'll now speak to the McKinley Lake wildfire, C31056, which is located 35 kilometers southeast of Horsefly. It is currently estimated to be 1,835 hectares in size. Our crews are patrolling the fire and actioning hotspots along the east and south flank of the fire. On the northwest flank, crews have been working to extinguish the edge as well. The fire did back down to the control lines in the steep terrain along the north flank, which is a really good thing. Our crews are having a difficult time actioning within the north flank just due to the steep terrain and difficult access. So the fire did kind of burn itself down to our containment lines and has stayed well within those. An evacuation alert is in place by the Cariboo Regional District for the Crooked Lake area. I'm now going to speak about the Young Lake wildfire, which is located 35 kilometers southeast of 70 Mile House. It is located within the Thompson-Nicola Regional District, but I did want to provide an update on it today since it is located within the Cariboo. So this fire is estimated at 6,937 hectares in size and is classified as out of control. There was a planned aerial ignition that took place on July 30th, and it was a success. This ignition secured the containment line by removing the unburnt fuel that remained. We have crews out there today working on mop-up operations along the northeast flank, so where the burn took place, the controlled planned ignition. And they will also be completing a patrol of the guard on the eastern flank towards the south to assess the need for any further containment lines. So they'll be looking at the potential of getting more heavy equipment in there and working those containment lines a little bit more. We also have some crews out in the southwest corner that are also assessing the need to extend those containment lines as well. I'll now talk about the Big Stick Lake fire, which is located approximately 45 kilometers southeast of Anaheim Lake. This wildfire is estimated at 7,020 hectares in size and is classified as out of control. We did have warmer conditions with the combination of elevated winds yesterday that resulted in increased wildfire behavior. There was a small excursion across the guard on the north side of the fire on the east side of Highway 20, but our crews quickly actioned it. We had helicopters out there bucketing to cool down the hot spots, and we're going to have heavy equipment out there that are going to secure those hot spots by creating a fuel-free guard around them. Our ground personnel who aren't working on that section will also be patrolling and extinguishing hot spots along the entire perimeter of the fire. On July 27th, the Cariboo Regional District downgraded the evacuation order to an evacuation alert for the Big Stick Lake area. And just a reminder that the Big Stick Lake and Clearwater Lake recreation sites are still closed to the public to allow firefighting personnel to safely conduct fire suppression efforts. I did now want to speak about evacuation orders. Receiving an evacuation order can be a very unsettling and emotional experience. BC Wildfire Service understands why you might want to be reluctant to leave your home and your community. But in order to leave or to keep us all safe, including you and the first responders, you do need to leave. Don't hesitate to leave when you get put on evacuation order. People who remain in the area may impede the ability for fire crews to fight a wildfire because they're forced to stop fighting this fire to keep the public out of harm's way. So when you don't leave when you're on evacuation order, it diverts our key resources that might be being used on the fire elsewhere to come and assist. So please, if you've been put on evacuation order, please leave the area. And I think that is all I have today.